Okay, the next one is number 5, easy or easier change. There's a time and place to make like huge, overwhelming change in your life, to just drop everything and move to Las Vegas. But those times are actually not that common in those situations. Most situations do not call for that. And in fact, that's why I would ask you to think about what it is that you want, and it's better to make changes early and to investigate early, because desperate people do dumb things. Don't get desperate. As I kind of mentioned in passing this morning, when I did that survey, 19% of doctors, I had like 5 levels about your, kind of like job satisfaction, and number 5 was, I'm so, stressed out that I want to leave my profession. 19%, 1 in 5. I would say, if you're seeing the warning signs of getting burnt out, do something about it. And by the way, we can talk maybe more about being burnt out a little later, but, the signs of being burnt out are cynicism. If you find yourself like thinking badly about your patients, almost like, kind of just having bad thoughts about your patients in general, talking about them badly, kind of coming up with some bad name, like Gomers, in emergency medicine. Get out of my ER. Oh, we got another Gomer on 4 or whatever. That's a sign. That's a sign. I remember this was about a year and a half ago that I think anesthesiologist or someone from Florida was caught like just really talking really vile about her patients. And it was horrible, but I thought like there's one burnt out physician. People don't go into medicine because they hate other people, because they just want to look down on other people and drive their fancy cars and say, ha, I'm better than you. People who do that, they are in a bad spot. Don't get into a bad spot. So I would say, always know your options. It's, so I learned this from one of my friends. I won't use his last name because he may not want me to. His first name is Shiraz. And Shiraz, he's one of the most dynamic people I've ever known. And I remember once I was meeting with him, this was 10 years ago, and we were meeting Saturday morning at Starbucks, just, I don't know, chatting about something. And he's like, oh, Jack, I gotta go. I'm like, really? Where? He's like, yeah, I'm interviewing with this hotshot psychologist who has this big group practice. And yeah, he's got a helicopter. He's gonna like give me a ride around like Chicago. And I'm like, all right, Shiraz, I'll just finish my coffee myself, go ahead. And Shiraz had a job. In fact, he had several, because he liked to have these kind of pieces of work, because he liked that flexibility. And he was always exploring. He wanted to know, he's one of those people who wanted to have his hand on the pulse. What's going on? What are the opportunities? And Shiraz, he wasn't and isn't a cynical person. He just, that's his way of being in the world. He didn't want to be working and living from a position of ignorance. He wanted to know what the opportunities were like. And then, he'd have all these, maybe he had a 2-day job or something, and he's like, well, maybe that's not working for me. He'd transition. I mean, ethically so, give him notice, but he would then move on to something else. And so I think it's very important also, if you're unhappy with your particular practice, with your principals, whoever it is, or with your medical center, whoever it is, you should be interviewing, even if you have no intention of changing jobs, just to see what's out there. Because then if you decide to stay in your current job, you're doing it out of your own decision, right? You decided, you said, I know I have these options and I'm choosing to stay. for whatever reason. Okay? So I would say always be kind of investigating, searching. Sometimes go to like conferences that may be a little bit off, just something other than psychiatry sometimes, if you have any kind of like potential interest. The other thing is start slow and low. It's like geriatric psychopharmacology. Start low and go slow. Okay? So, as I mentioned, the doctor working at the VA who's just setting up a little practice and then growing and learning, action learning.